Hello all, welcome to Homeschool. And today we are with one more bio chapter of class 10, that is reproduction. Very simple chapter, yet very important chapter. So first and foremost, let us try to understand the definition of reproduction. So what do you mean by a reproduction here? It's very simple. It is some biological process, right? Something happens inside a body. Okay, that is called biological process. You can't do this process in a laboratory or something, isn't it? So it is all happening inside a body. It involves lots of chemical reactions, the biochemical reactions. So that's why it is actually called a biological process. Clear? Fine. A biological process by which an organism can produce a new organism of its own kind is called reproduction. Clear? You take an organism, the organism can be a plant body or a simple microorganism or a complex organisms like we humans. Any organism has an ability to reproduce, to create another organism of its own kind. Okay, see, humans can create another human being. Humans cannot produce monkeys, humans cannot produce tigers, isn't it? See, you can observe a picture there. Elephants create elephants only, right? And the puppies are produced from dog. Dogs can create, dog can produce puppies, one more dog. Cat can produce some more cats. And as well, humans can create human beings, can produce human beings, isn't it? Say, this is what we call this kind of regeneration, this kind of creating another individual of its own kind is called reproduction. Reproduction. Production is what? Creating. Okay? So this is what we mean by reproduction. So let us try to write the definition here. A biological process by which an organism or any individual, whatever, produces a new organism or individual of its own kind. Okay? This is what we mean by reproduction. Clear? It's a very simple definition. Fine. And the next question I put in front of you is, why is reproduction necessary? Yes? Can you able to give an answer for this question? Why is reproduction necessary? So why organisms have to reproduce? Right? See, to retain its own type of species for generations to generation. Yes, imagine if any organism stops reproduction, like human beings. If humans were not having a capacity of reproduction, do we find some more human beings in the future generation? Never, right? Our species will exist, it will vanish. Right? When you have a capacity of reproduction and, a set of species, same kind of species can flourish, right? From generations to generations. If a particular species were not having a capacity of reproduction, then that particular species will vanish very soon. We don't even see that particular species in the next generations. Just to retain the species of its own kind for generations to generation, reproduction is necessary. Okay, so what is the first point that you have to remember here? To retain the species of its own kind for generations to generations, right? So if you want to see that particular species for many generations, definitely a concept of reproduction have to be there. Organism must have an ability to reproduce. Otherwise, that particular species will extinct. It will become vanish. We don't see that particular species in the future at all, isn't it? So that is the reason reproduction is very much necessary. Okay, and another important point here is, when you have a capacity of reproduction, the transmission of characters takes place from one generation to another generation. So the next point that you have to write under this particular question is transmission of characters. Transmission of characters from one generation to another generation is possible. Another generation is possible. Okay, if reproduction was not there, then this wouldn't have been possible. Clear? And the third one is variations. Variations are possible. And now let us try to learn how the transmission of characters takes place from one generation to another generation, and how is the variations can be created, what is the use of variation, and what actually you mean by variation. Clear? See guys, coming to the topic of inheritance and variation, let us try to think of this question. Do we look exactly similar to our parents? Each one of us, are we similar to our parents? What way we are similar and what way we are different? We have this structure exactly like our parents, isn't it? We have two hands just like our parents. We have two eyes which are put up here. We have a nose which is exactly, in this position between the eyes. This way we have two legs, some fingers, hands, and everything. This way we are similar to our parents, right? And we have certain characters also. See, our eyes sometimes may just look exactly to our parent. Our nose may look exactly similar to our parent, right? And our walking style may be sometimes exactly similar to our parents. See, some characters are similar. But are we 100% identical to our parents? No, right? Each one of us are different. And each one of us is very much different from our parent also. Our behavior, our characters, and some of our body features, right? They are quite different from our parent. We are actually unique in our own way. We are not identical to someone else, not even to our parents. So this is what actually we call it as variation. One important sentence I'll tell you, try to remember. The new organisms may be similar, but not identical. Okay, so there is a difference between the word similar and identical, guys. Similar in the sense what? We are quite similar. Like our parents, we have the body structure which is similar to our parent. But we are not exactly identical. We are not 100% identical to our parent. We are not exactly the Xerox copy of our parent. Some way we are similar, but not exactly identical. Clear? And there are certain variations between our parents and us. And usually, how come you see the transmission of characters. Few characters are transferred from our parent, definitely. So how is this transmission of characters are taking place, and why we are not 100% similar to our parent? Like we see a kind of variations, right? So why is this variations are possible? Why is this similarities are there? So let us try to figure out the answer for these questions. Okay, from the concept I tell you. See, what actually happens during reproduction is, see, imagine we have, this is a mother, right? And this is a father cell. Okay, this is a mother cell, mother and father. Okay, and within a cell, you have a nucleus. Within a nucleus, you have certain guys called chromosomes. Okay, have you heard of this word chromosomes, guys? In your class 9, I think you had few basics about this chromosomes, isn't it? So there are certain specialized cells in a mother, there are certain specialized cells in a father, where the cells would contain, chromosomes. Each and every cell has a chromosome, that's a different issue. Okay, and what does a chromosome contains? See, cell has a nucleus, right? Nucleus has a chromosomes, structures called chromosomes. And what does this chromosomes are made up of? Chromosomes are made up of genes. What do you mean by this gene? Gene is made up of DNA. Okay, so what is the full form of DNA? DNA is nothing but deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribose nucleic acid. It's a kind of chemical, actually, chemical structure. Clear? So chromosomes has genes. Here and there some genes will be there. Okay, and the gene is nothing but what? So-called chemical deoxyribonucleic acid. Okay, and this particular DNA is nothing but blueprint. It is a blueprint of a body. Blueprint of a body. This DNA actually decides how a body has to be and how a baby has to be. Okay, so this is a very, very important guy. And in other words, we can also call this DNA as heredity material. This is also called as heredity material. Okay, this guy is actually transferring information or characters from one generation to another generation. Okay, so the whole story runs around this DNA actually. Very important guy. So where is this DNA present? It is present in the chromosomes. Where are the chromosomes present? Inside the cell nucleus. Okay, so during reproduction what happens is copy formation takes place. Okay, say there is a DNA, right? There is a particular DNA in a mother. A copy of a DNA takes place in mother. A copy of DNA occurs or created. I can say created in mother. In the same way, a copy of DNA can be created in father also. A copy of DNA is created in father also. Okay. Usually, when these copies combine, a new organism is formed. New organism is formed. Clear, everybody? So usually, within a cell itself, copy of DNA takes place. A new DNA is formed in a mother cell. A new DNA is formed in a father cell. And the cell produces a new DNA, no? So, DNA to exist, it wants a nucleus and a cell, isn't it? So, the mother DNA, as soon as it produces another copy of its DNA, where will that new copy will go? Will it just like that thrown out of the cell? Even the DNA to survive, you want a specialized cell. So the new DNA DNA copy will try to create one cell for its existence. Same way, a new DNA copy that is formed in a father will try to create its own cell for its existence. So those cells actually combines. Those cells having a copy of mother DNA and a copy of father DNA combines, and you get a new organism that is a baby DNA, baby cell. Clear, everybody? So this is how occurs. Clear, everybody? And now, during the copy formation of mother DNA and during the copy formation of father DNA, and I told you, that DNA to exist, a new cell has to be formed. Who will make a new cell? The DNA itself will make a new cell. Okay, the DNA is very powerful, it has an information to make various types of proteins, various types of things. So a new cell is created by itself for its own existence, for its own survival. Okay, and during that process, you will observe a concept of inheritance and variation. Okay, so whenever this copying business occurs, see, I'll write the point here. During the copying of DNAs, okay, from mother as well as father, from mother and father, okay, so we observe inheritance and variation. Okay, now let us see what do you mean by that inheritance. Okay, inheritance is very simple. Some of the information that is there in the mother DNA is exactly copied in the same way. Okay, so some information, DNA is what carries the entire information, how a baby has to be, how a hand has to be formed, how a face has to be formed, what characters the baby should have. Everything is decided by a DNA itself. Okay, so when the DNA copy is forming from mother and father, some of the characters, some of the genes are copied as it is. Okay, there will not be any change. It is copied as it is. So that is what we call it as inheritance. Okay, so transmission of characters, transmission of same characters occurs from generation to generation. Say for example, see, we are some way similar to our parents. See, our nose sometimes exactly similar to your parent, you think. So that the gene responsible for creating nose, that information is exactly copied as it is from one of your parent maybe. Okay, so that's the reason your nose is exactly similar to your parent, because whatever gene behind this nose you had in your father or mother is same in you also. So the information is copied exactly the same. So this is what we call inheritance. So what definition I can give on inheritance? Transmission of same characters from one generation to another generation. From one generation to another generation. Okay, so this is what we mean by inheritance. Okay, and now let us study about the word called variation, guys. What do you mean by variation? See, our eyes may not be similar to your parents. Your father had different eyes, your mother had different eyes, you had got a very different eyes. That means that exactly the same copy has not been formed in you. Isn't it? During the DNA copying, certain changes would have occurred so that, the same gene from your mother, the same gene from your father might not have copied in the same way. Something during copying, something would have done so that the gene's structure would have changed. That's the reason you have got a very different eyes from your parent, from your mother and father. isn't it? So this is what we call variations. See, 100% same Xerox copy will not be formed. 100% Xerox copy will not be formed from father, isn't it? So here and there during copying time, some changes also might occur. That actually leads to variation. Okay, so what I can write for variation here? Differences in the characters. Differences in the characters of parents and offsprings. Offsprings in the sense the new organisms or children. Okay, so in many ways we are actually different from our parents. We are not exactly similar to our parents, isn't it? So how is this differences? When is this differences caused, guys? During DNA copying itself, those differences can occur. How? You know, during the copying, certain genes might have been changed in different way. Okay, so that's the reason you would find certain different characters also from us and our parents, right? So those differences are called variation. And now let us learn what is the importance of variation, why this variation have to occur, what is the use of such variations. Okay, so this is important point to remember. Importance of inheritance is what? It's nice that same characters passing from one generation to another generation, isn't it? Right? Say our basic structure would be retained by this inheritance, right? But variation is also necessary. Okay, so why is this variation necessary? Let us discuss in detail. Hey guys, coming to the significance of variation or importance of variation. So you can just observe a picture there, how a man was before and how a man is now, isn't it? So it's a very famous picture you might have seen from your childhood onwards. It is a picture of evolution, isn't it? So usually how did this evolution took place? It is all because of variation. You know what? The first point that you have to remember here is variation leads to evolution. Variation leads to evolution. You know what do you mean by evolution actually? Evolution is nothing but accumulation of so many variations. Accumulation of so many variations is what we call evolution. Okay, so imagine a man was an ape before, isn't it? He was an ape, right? You can see that picture there. Our body structure was different, our behavior was different long back when the man was in a ape type, isn't it? And his kind of intelligence is different. So we are no way matching to apes type of a body structure, isn't it? Say, and what might have happened is, after many generations, you know, there might have happened a change in the DNA of this ape. Okay, during the DNA copying, you know, a new level, a very high level of DNA might have formed. Some changes would have occurred during copying so that you had got advanced type of a DNA, isn't it? So, you know, slowly the structure of a man was improved. And again from this generation to this generation, again DNA copying takes place, and during that time, much more advanced DNA might have formed. Okay, so there is a variation in this step, there is a variation in this step, like that. Gradually, if you combine all the variations together, that itself we will call it as evolution. So man from ape to man of now is a great evolution. So how is this evolution happened? In every step, in every generation, there is a variation actually. Variation in the sense what? During DNA copying, there might be some differences in copying, isn't it? So that leads to variation. So in each and every generation, minute variation would have occurred. Okay, so collection of all these variations itself, we call it as evolution. Okay, so the very important point about variation is the variation can lead to evolution. Okay, so if this variation wouldn't have occurred in the generations, we wouldn't have formed, isn't it? We would have remained as apes only. This advanced body wouldn't have been formed, right? And our intelligence wouldn't have been so much advanced, right? We would have stayed back as ape only. So who is responsible for this evolution, right? The small variations that had happened in every generation, this is the reason for the overall evolution of certain species. Okay, so the very basic importance or significance of variation is the variation can lead to evolution. So variation helps in the survival of species, over a period of time. Okay, so this is one more advantage of variation actually. Say variation can lead to the survival of species, right? And one example I'll give you. Imagine there is a bacteria that is growing on in a particular pond. Okay, say you have a pond where certain bacteria started taking its life and it is growing in this pond from generations to generation. Okay, so many generations of bacteria would have been there in this pond. Okay, suddenly, and a pond's temperature was exactly favorable for the growth of the bacteria. That's why the bacteria is growing from many generations. Okay, the main important thing is the environment of this pond was much favorable. Okay, it was convenient. The temperature of the pond was much convenient for that bacteria, so it's growing for years together. And suddenly, nowadays, there is a global warming. Slowly, the temperature of the atmosphere is increasing. Imagine the temperature of this pond also increased. What happens? Okay, many of the bacteria would die because the temperature is gradually increased. Okay, but actually what happens is, no doubt, many of the bacteria would have been died. But there survives a certain bacteria, okay, even when the temperature is very high, they develop a kind of resistance for the increase of temperature. Okay, so resistant varieties would have been developed. Why? Because there would have occurred certain variations during their DNA copying. Okay, now the favorable condition is not there. What happens during the DNA copying? Much advanced DNA, the DNA that can withstand to very high temperature, the DNA that can survive at very high temperature would have been occurred. A kind of mutation, that means a changes would have occurred in DNA. Okay, because the environment outside is changed. It has to survive at any cost. That's the reason, there can occur a changes in the DNA so that it can live in the same pond even the temperature becomes more. Okay, so many of the bacteria would die, but the bacteria which have developed a resistant varieties, those can live in a bacteria, right? So how come resistant varieties have been developed in the pond? It's all because of the variation during DNA copying, isn't it? So sometimes variation can help in the survival of the species. Yes, the same species, if they have to survive for the changed environmental conditions, they can survive only when certain variations occur at DNA level. Okay, so these are the two important points that you have to remember about the significance of variation. So one is the variation can lead to evolution, and the variation also helps in the survival of a particular species over the period of time. Okay, for more generations, if it has to survive, even if environment outside has changed, what happens? These variations can occur in the living organisms, and that will help for an organism to survive for many years. Okay, fine. So that's all about the importance or significance of variation. And about this inheritance and variations, we are going to discuss in detail in the next chapter called Heredity and Evolution. Okay, so as far as this chapter concerned, this much is enough to remember. Okay, now let me go quickly to the topic actually, the different types of reproduction. There are two types of reproduction. One is sexual reproduction and another one is asexual reproduction. So the entire chapter is about studying the varieties under asexual reproduction and studying the sexual reproduction in plants and humans. Okay, so let us quickly go for the types of reproduction. Types of reproduction. Okay, what are the two types, guys? First one is asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction. And second variety is sexual reproduction. Let us try to figure out what is the differences between this asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. And later we will study in detail about asexual and sexual. Clear? Coming to asexual reproduction, you know, in asexual reproduction, single parent is involved, guys. Single parent or single individual is involved. Okay, from a single parent, a new organism is formed, right? So this is what we call asexual reproduction. It is not that you should have two parents like father and mother. Only mother organism would be there. From that, the new organisms can be formed. Clear? Fine. And coming to the sexual reproduction, two parents must be involved. Two parents are involved. Okay, so new organism is formed from two parents. Compulsorily both mother and father has to be there to produce a new organism. Clear? And coming to the second point of difference, no gametes are formed. No gametes are formed. So what do you mean by gametes actually? Gametes are nothing but sex cells. Okay. So usually in the coming to the sexual reproduction, actually we have certain things called gametes. You know, here gametes are formed. In male, you have certain sex organs. Female also, its own type of sex organs are there. So in these sex organs, there are certain sex cells. Okay, so those sex cells are called gametes. The sex cells have to combine, only then a new individual is produced. Okay, here it's like two parents are not necessary. That's the reason gametes, the so-called sex cells, will not be present in the organisms that undergoes asexual reproduction. Clear? Fine. And the third point of difference is, you know, it is a faster mode of reproduction. Faster mode of reproduction. Okay, reproduction occurs very fastly, maybe within few minutes. Okay, a particular cell would be there that goes on dividing on its own, and a new cells or a new organisms are produced in few minutes or seconds. Clear? So that's the reason we call this kind of reproduction as faster mode of reproduction. And you know, sexual reproduction is a slower mode of reproduction. Okay, slow mode of reproduction. Say gametes have to be formed, you know, sex cells have to be formed, and later they should combine. Okay, and so much of process occurs in the new cell formed. You know, it might take some years. Say first thing is gametes have to be formed. To form a gametes itself, you know, it takes few years. Clear, everybody? So definitely I can say that this is a slower mode of reproduction. And here the daughter cells or the new individual that is formed is exactly identical to the parent. Okay, so new organism formed is exactly identical, 100% it is identical to parent. Okay, but here the new organism is not 100% identical. It is similar but not identical. Similar in the sense what? Like our parents, we have 2 hands in a place, 2 legs, 2 eyes. That way we are similar. Okay, but we are not 100% identical. Clear? We are very much different from our parents. Each and every one of us is very much different from others, isn't it? So what I can write here is new organism is not 100% identical to the parent. Okay, fine. And where do you find a sexual reproduction is, it is found in lower plants and lower organisms. Asexual reproduction is seen or found in lower plants and lower organisms. Like lower organisms in the sense what, guys? Single cell organisms are there, no? Like amoeba, paramecium, right? So in such organisms you find asexual reproduction. Okay, and lower plant varieties in the sense plants like hydra, right? You find asexual reproduction. And where do you find sexual reproduction? Sexual reproduction is seen or found in higher plants and animals. Okay, higher plants, much advanced plants and much advanced animals which have multi cells and so many tissues and various organs, right? So like humans and various other animals, to reproduce, we see asexual reproduction. Clear? So this is the differences between asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. So in my next video, we will study what are the different types of sexual reproduction, okay, and where do you find them. Till then, keep revising a concept, and if you like our video, please like, share and subscribe our channel to learn the concepts in the easiest way and in a detailed way. Thank you so much.